What is up, the Silver Gauntlets? Welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another League restream. Without further ado, here are your commentators, KLO and Bitsy. Oh yeah.
On the restream.
Let's try not muting
Did they hear
Discord. Let's see how
Tobias?
that
That's the important
works.
thing.
All right, there we go. We got it back up. We are alive. It's alive. Guess who's back? Back again.
Remember the DMCA?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so we're here with another league seed. We have a medallion start, which is always nice to see. We have Suria's song as the starting song, which is not as nice to see. At least we aren't going to have awkward first tempo logic. But
No, Force Temple Logic, real easy song chains as well. We find a quick ZL. We got some dancing daddies too.
exactly. I am not in the race room, so I'm not sure if we
I
are ready to
am,
start
and we
yet.
are 1 second away, and it has started from the race room.
And here we go.
And there we go. And
Kakariko,
Kakariko, who's going to touch the chickens first? That was the prediction. And it was Rafa. Rafa touches our chickens first.
And jaxstronomy having trouble catching those slippery chickens. I believe it's 7 chickens in League, so Jax immediately forsaking chickens.
Yes, it is 7 chickens.
Immediately forsaking the chickens to go for the grotto.
Oh, Frogs 2 is a bomb bag.
Somehow I get the feeling that's not going to be their first bomb bag, but stranger things have happened.
It could.
Well, they did start with a child song, so that is one step closer.
Is it likely to be the first one? Probably not. Could it be? Absolutely.
Probably not, but I'm sure chat.
Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scales. Yeah, 5 songs to get. We currently have 4 songs in Logic, and ZL would open up a 5th one. So we legitimately could have all child songs after just an adult and a child playthrough.
The awkward thing about that is, though, it does mean all of your warp songs are incredibly deep, which is going to mean you're walking a lot. At least you definitely have the horse, but I would much prefer having all the adult songs than all the child songs.
Right. I love the way the rupees look on VC. It's just so pretty.
Shiny things. Also, it's really nice with regards to picking the top of the crater. Volcano and Death Mountain crater. The rule of thumb is if I can't see what's on the top, I'll go pick it up, because I've lost too many races by mispeaking that.
Yeah, that's fair. I will just waste a little bit of extra time to just stand there and look at it to make sure I know what it is. There is that one standard weekly where a lot of people thought it was a Deku tree on the Spirit Temple Arch, when it was actually the claim check for your required Rudo's letter.
And speaking of returning fan favorites, I believe there's currently a boost train going on, so if you want subs or bits, you can help support the Silver Gauntlets by getting us pushed to the page for some random people online.
I think I've got some bits. I do. I got 3 hundos. Show all cheer motes. Since I'm back from the dead, we're gonna do Rip Cheer.
Rafa is spending some extra time getting into the back of Impa's house here. I'm not not sure we'll see jaxstronomy doing the same thing. They might just wait until they're an adult to reach that during the standard adult CAC cycle. See if it pays off for him. It definitely does. That's a hammer that they won't need to pick up
Alrighty.
in the middle of their adult cycle.
Always good to start with that hammer.
And one thing I do know is that takes out a number of the bomb checks, so we're much closer to having frogs being the first logical bomb check now.
Oh yeah.
Chat pogging already.
There we go. Oh, we're so close to 69%. Nice.
I would assume they're both going to Lon for the song, although Jack seems to be lining for Market instead. Or are they just farming rupees?
Oh, we were at 69 and then Artificial Red bumps us to 74 with 100 bits. We appreciate the bits. Both Tobias and Artificial Red.
Appreciate the bits, but we can't guarantee that Tobias
you ruined
isn't
it.
going we can't guarantee Tobias isn't going to ban you for that.
Love you, Red. Fun thing I love doing is shield dropping the chicken as soon as I pick it up, because
Shield
for the
drop,
first
take
two,
them
it'll
through the
just
floor.
fall through the ground, yeah.
Go through the floor, and it's actually useful because it means they're, I believe it means they aren't in the pool of chickens for the third.
Yes, that is correct.
There's Hyrule Field to go, I believe.
30 is dead. Does League have path or waft pins?
As path hints,
Okay.
there will be 5 path hints to 5 path hints to bosses of medallion dungeons.
Cool.
For first-time viewers, this is 5 medallions to unlock the bridge to Ganon's castle, and the 6th medallion will give you the big key to the Ganon fight.
Nice.
You will need all 6 medallions to beat this scene.
Cack to Bongo.
So, we can guarantee that the Deku Tree and the Shadow Temple will be required medallions. And as chat is pointing out, Kakariko is path, as
Water is wet.
as water is wet, as windfall is path, as
Nothing on the sling game, but some money. But
has
now Jax's wallet needs to go kill all the Jedi.
Lon has come up rather empty on an item front so far, but that Requiem
But we did get
Spirit
Requiem, yeah.
is at least one warp song, which will lead directly to another song, so expect we'll
And
see
it's
Rafa
still,
playing that.
because it's Requiem specifically, it could also still get us enough child songs.
Exactly. Gives us access to another song.
Valley Loop. Valley Loop. The Valley Crate is my favorite check in the game. It really is.
Theoretically bad play, but if there's as with every play, if the item's there, it's good play.
I have won 2 matches because I went to Valley so early compared to the opponent.
I can 100% believe that. And the Ocarina of Time is the Serenade of Water. Chances of us having to do all of the stone dungeons is massively reduced now.
And why am I like this? Because I got burned on Open Grotto in my first ever Scrubs match. It had my bow and I didn't check Open Grotto for 4 hours. So now I do Open Grotto Valley pretty much as soon as I can. But yeah, no, where do we start? I've gotten
nice
bomb
steel
bags,
stick.
I've gotten dins, I've gotten magic, I've gotten furores, I've gotten so much from that crate. Does it burn me more times than it doesn't? Yes. Will that stop me? No.
I mean, this is Division 6 of League, so there are good players in this batch, and we're still seeing people do it. It's not a bad play by any sense of
Plus you get this
by any
hint
sense of bad.
stone as well.
Exactly,
50's
getting
dead.
early hints is good. If you can get a a Goron City Foolish or Temple Foolish, then that's a good amount of checks that you can discount early on.
Or you could do like what happened in my last match and get a Zora River Foolish. Decide to go to the river for the hints anyways, and find both copies of Spirit Temple Wath there.
Sometimes they're just next to each other.
Oh yeah.
And here is hint number 2 of the Valley League loop.
Toilet's a
Sorry.
key.
Sorry, Dastar, the items are not in the toilet today.
Ooh, nice hop on the spider kill though there. Ooh.
Yeah.
I always have trouble with that. That's impressive.
I just trying. But if you're going to loop in early skulls, as League has closed Deku, you don't have the you won't have the choice of getting the skulls in the deck.
Lon Lon is on the path of Twin Rova. Wow. I wonder what it could be. Could it be that Requiem? I only get that spider if I have to get 50 and I have an early boomerang. That's the only time I get that spider. Oh, is it not free Scarecrow song?
It is not free Scarecrow song. No.
That makes a lot more sense on why Roth is doing this.
True. There are few and far between settings that don't have free Scarecrow. I think everyone's just sick of having to do it. We do have Rafa with the C buttons attached to a stick. The only good thing about that is the spinny Scarecrow song.
I was confused what you meant by that at first, trying to figure out what the hell you were talking about. Because I was thinking Deku sticks were on the C stick. Deku sticks were on the C, and that for some reason made the Scarecrow spin. I forgot he's playing with a GameCube controller and that it's an actual stick for his C.
Yep. Then you can just play a Scarecrow song by spinning it around in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally the only good thing about it. The first thing I did when I got a controller was to map C buttons to anything other than the C stick.
Also, we did get Lullaby from the Colossus, which means we now have the Grave, which means we now have enough available song checks to get all of our child songs. And knowing OOT is an adult song. Oh, I knew that worked in the Wolfos Grotto. I didn't know that worked here, too. That's really useful information.
It is the main reason we commentate. We can see cool things and get better.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that was Pierre in the Fire Temple's dead.
Alrighty.
Which is always nice to see, but I don't think anyone in the world likes that check.
Oh, damn, it's Prelude.
Well, it's still useful, but
it's very useful. It's just kind of ruins the whole getting early bomb bags.
There's still plenty of song checks in the game. Jack's going for the ridiculous Grave chest.
Yeah, Forest Medallion to not be bomb locked, or get something like an early bow and have Bolero be a child song too.
Opening the small chest anyway, this does have chest size matches contents and the old chest textures match contents. So
Nice.
small keys will be in
Boss key chests,
yellow and blue
tiny.
chests. Yes, tiny boss key chests. And
But
any
bomb
major
shoes
items
will be in small chests though, so it's still smart to get them sometimes.
Yes, I believe the classic one doesn't have bomb shoes in big chests.
Oh yeah, if Forest and Fire Medallions are like Forest Temple and Deku, then we could even have Burning Cack available for another one. Ooh, Goron Bracelet in Mido's house.
A nice early strength. There's been a lot of variation in their early routes, considering
Oh,
still
yeah.
child. Not just the standard 3-song child play and then back adult. Each had a lot of
But
different...
where is Jax just doing a very long valley route?
I would believe
Yeah, it
so.
looks
There's
like
not
it.
much else in this area of the map. I do know Jax tends to only go Valley Lake when they've run out of other options. So, guess we see how
Oh yeah,
she's feeling early
close
on.
Deku, that's right. I should probably change that. There we go. Okay, that helps my map. I was like, wait, why are neither of them going to Deku? It's because my map tracker had it as open Deku still.
That would explain it. That's... Yeah, looking at the trackers, I'd have to agree from Jax's point of view here. There is very little for them to do.
Gurnia's dance is dead. That sucks. They, them for Jax. Okay, sweet. Thank you. Oh, and it's right there too. I just was not even reading.
Let's see what this starting Saria's song can get. Nothing from the Skull Kid.
If you need money, do you grab that red rupee on the crate?
Yeah, if you're confident in being able to keep the chicken upright, then go for it, I would say. 20 rupees is 20 rupees. They say.
Right.
20 bucks is 20 bucks.
I'm thinking potentially Open Grotto has Kokiri's sword if we haven't already seen Rafa do that. See, what I do is I'll set the chicken down, crash into the crate, pick the chicken back up, set it back down to reset its walking timer.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to do it. If you try and
Rafa checked
do it without
open. Okay,
picking the-
cool.
if you try and do it without picking the chicken back up, it's definitely going to be running away from you.
Oh yeah. But if you know the jump slash, then honestly you might not even worry about it.
Also, if you're doing Valley Lake Loop, I always personally finish it in the open grotto because it's an extra hint stone at the very least.
Oh yeah. See, me though, I like practicing my back walking, so currently I still get the back of lake hints when I do Valley Lake as well. Because it'll set me right next to fishing. I can go do fishing, check Ruto's letter, then if I need to,
what
Scarecrow.
Ruto's letter was there on Jax's side.
I didn't either. If you don't have a C stick though, down right is the premium Scarecrow song.
Oh no, I do A left for that. Classic clashing triple sound.
Can you have like the accent notes on your Scarecrow song? Could you do like holding Z and then do whatever you want?
You cannot. Scarecrow will immediately end your song.
Boo. Oh.
Yeah, that was put in for the beta and then left in for fun, I think, rather than anything practical.
Oh, he didn't set the hook.
Oh dear, Jax.
No, Jax, there's still one more. There's still one more, Jax.
Using the fish.
Oof. And Nocturne at Staria's.
Just resetting the entire area rather than going looking for another fish.
Ice has Song of Time.
Ice has a Song of Time. You know that the Sacred Forest Meadow is the Path to Bongo. So if we do get a second hint, it could well be that.
Wait, we just got Sacred Forest Meadow Path to Bongo?
Oh, we know that it is. Not that it's hinted, but it is.
No, Kakariko is path to Bongo.
Yes, but there's more than one item in the path.
That's true. Oh, okay. No, I thought you were saying it as there was a hint for it. Yeah.
And that is Deku Tree to Morpha.
Deku is on the path.
Which is always nice because we will need to get the we'll need to go into the Deku Tree anyway, as it is a required dungeon. Skull Mask has the mirror shield, so we will be seeing that. See how much of the Skull Mask quest they do as in their first child.
I knew about Triforce hints existing because I would accidentally hold R or the control stick or something when I'm trying to fastly play a song, and it's like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
Bias, I'm surprised you didn't know about the accent notes, having to try and set up the TrueArch controller. I know for sure I knew about the accent notes. Well, I knew about them before that, but a number of times I had to reconfigure the TrueArch controller to stop it doing accent note. For taking advantage of the Nocturne to get the Rampage check there. Unfortunately, it wasn't useful for it. It's an awkward check to get, though. And nothing on the Graveyard Crate either. And now going to get his Zelda's Lullaby, I believe. I don't think he's been here yet.
Four had nothing. The box was nothing. Well, did we see the shield grave too?
Yes, it was a small chest, so it wasn't opened, it immediately bailed. Fortunately for Rafa, he's just left the graveyard and only now gets it, so we'll see if he warps back.
I would. It's a free song.
I would. I guess it's the part of the school of thought about when you get a warp song. If you get a warp song that's part of a song chain, do you do it sooner or do you do it at the end of your cycle?
See, getting Requiem at Lon Lon is so hard for me because it's like, do I want to play it right from the cows or do I want to play it when I'm done with my Valley Lake?
Exactly.
I did not see what was on top of DC, did you?
I did not either. I was looking at Rafa's side, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to see it now. Jax is going to be doing the backflip. Can stop being distracted by the flowers.
Oh, it's a hook shot.
Hook shots. That is.
Well, that's our forest access.
It's understandable to be going to it. Forest access, but they don't have the strength that Rafa picked up.
Oh, that's true.
I would highly doubt Jax would be leaving their child routes before going to Kakiri Forest, though.
Also, unless we find a scale, then Frogs 2 is our second or later bomb bag because of Ice having Song of Time.
Oh, there are two scales in the...
Ooh, they haven't done Kokiri Forest at all yet, so they don't know that Dancing Dad is dead, because that hint was right outside the Lost Woods.
It's true.
Oh yeah, we already needed scale for Frogs 2 to be first bomb bag anyways. That's fair.
This looks like a clearing as much of Outgorn City as they can, and then going through the shortcut to Lost Woods and Fury Forest. So it's a uncommon route, but the
no need to apologize, please. If I'd say something stupid, let me know.
yeah, I can't be paying attention to all of it. No strength or bombs to do the Goron, but only lighting 3 of the torches. I guess they realized that.
Kakariko's on the way to Bongo again. There's the repeat for that.
Now opening up the shortcut.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always saying something stupid. Oh, we just saw it on Jack's side first. Okay.
And Raph starting off the...
Hyrule Field is the Goma. Ocarina of Time is Serenade.
Did Rafa not check the Temple of Time songs?
Songs or hints?
The hints started as adults, so you would have had to have been here at some point, I would have thought.
No, we started as child in Kakariko.
Was it? That's right.
Yeah, we
back
started
of
as
Impa's
child
house
because
a child.
20 seconds in, we ended our prediction of who's touching a chicken first.
Yeah, I got confused because we saw the back of Impa's house, and the
Yeah,
times we
that's
actually
fair.
see that as a child is
Yeah.
limited, as it is quite time consuming, especially if you fail the trick the first time.
Alright, let's see what we got.
Spirit, water, shadow.
Utter Shadow.
Fire,
Spirit,
Deku.
water, freeze, shadow. I missed what shadow was.
The Fire and Deku. So we will be getting one path to each, as Forest Temple and Dodongo's Cavern are both stones.
So we have Dodonga's, Jabu, and Forest as stones.
Jabu is not required.
See, I think I would have, after getting my Prelude from the grave, I think I would have done Skull Mask before going adult.
Just a note
Just
for
so I can
anyone
have a
playing
free
bingo.
shield.
Just a note for anyone playing bingo. Jax does have nice rupees.
Nice.
Thank you, Tobias. I forgot that we had a command for that. And now Gangler Strength. Now here's Jax opening up all of the small chests, and it is a big question. How many hearts do you want to have?
I have
Before
to
you
do
stop
fire. I don't stop opening till I'm at 7 hearts or a wallet.
Does make sense. One interesting thing is Jax hasn't checked the pedestal, so they don't know fire is required. But yes, if fire is required, I will be opening as many chests as possible until I'm comfortable. Usually at around the 6 or 7 mark for me too.
Or if I don't have to do fire, but I get a hint like Central Pillar has long shot or other required item, I'll go till I have like 6 hearts.
Chat bring up good point that we haven't found any foolish hints yet. We have almost all our paths. There's still a Volvagia path we haven't got yet.
How much you
It
want to
has-
bet Kakariko's also on path to Volvagia?
Well, we have strength. We don't have bombs, and we don't have hover boots.
Oh yeah, if Hammer's path to Bongo. What else do we still have? We still have Windmill, Anju, the Redead Grotto, and 10 and 20 Skulls as far as Kakariko is concerned. So there's still 5 checks that Kakariko could be path to Volvagia. And I think the only thing it could be is either a wallet or hover boot. And then again, they could both be for Bongo.
Here it is.
I don't understand paths too much, but I think either the hammer is going to lead us to the hover boots or dins, or we're going to find hover boots or dins in Kakariko as well.
Path hints aren't that excessively different from Way of the Hero. It uses the same logic to create a Way of the Hero-esque path to the dungeon reward that boss gives you, and then it picks a random item from that path and uses that as the check. So it doesn't necessarily need to be something directly related, like Din's. If the Din's fire is hammer locked, then it could well pick the hammer as the path to bomb.
That's true.
It would be awkward. I would be disappointed if I got that in my seed, but it's certainly possible.
Also, a pentatonic scale for Jax's Ocarina memory game.
At least it's easy to remember. And our first Dampé race of the day.
I think the only way all the bombs are bomb locked is if the hammer locks a scale, and yeah, I think really that's it. Insert pentatonic stroke here. Thank you, Tobias. Somebody got it.
Oh no! If the hammer locks a hook shot, and one of our child songs is on Prelude. Drugs too. There are plenty of ways to lock that bomb bag.
That's true. Are we gonna see a 1 in 32 chance from Jack? Probably not.
Unlikely. Just making sure the dog is still following her. It's a very good dog. Very good dog. Next, immediately getting their light arrows early on.
We love.
Never smite me with those arrows you gave to the dog outside.
Plot twist. Richard was the 8th stage all along. Oh, that's a big chest.
There's a big chest in Kakariko.
And it's strength 2! Ooh!
It's certainly a strength anyway. If the 5 medallions as a bridge, and that being a strength way of the hero, or a strength path, the Spectre of Light Trial
Hover
is
boots in Spirit
winning.
Temple on child's side. I'm calling it right now.
Well, we don't have Inside Gan's castle hidden, so we don't know which medallion is going to be done last.
Inside Ganon's castle is on the path to Doma. As we only get a strength from the field. Also, we found the silver gauntlets. Roll credits. We could have that, yeah.
Here is the question now. We know the Deku Tree is path to Morpha, so there's a decent chance it's either Iron Boots or the second shot in there. At what point do you take that hammer and run around the revealed whatever that is?
Probably as soon as I'm done doing the maze in Goron City.
On Rafa's side.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yep, that makes
I'm
sense.
I'm doing Kakariko on Jax's side first. Because you need that to get to Hammer 1, and 2, it's way more dense.
do have Prelude, so field access isn't a particular issue.
Just put Strength 3 inside Ganon's castle, and then all Slingshots in Light Trial. And then Deku Tree can still be path to Morpho, while IGC is path to Goma.
It could happen. It could happen.
No, Field has Strength 3, and Kokiri's Sword. No, hold on. I'll have to think about that one. I'll come back in a minute with how that can be fucked up.
We know that the Slingshots can't be in Ganon's castle, unfortunately, anyway, because you would need to have 5 medallions, get whatever.
Yeah, and since one of the... Well, then again...
Unless
it could still have the Slingshot as long as the Kokiri Sword is elsewhere, and the Morpha item is not on Goma.
That is true. That is true.
Field just leads us to either Slingshot or...
I would be willing to put money down that is not going to happen.
Yeah, the K Sword has to be before Ganon's, but the Slingshot doesn't.
We're having our first dip into Forest Temple on Jax's. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is our first dip into any dungeon.
Yep.
Our first dip into any dungeon, and it's a stone dungeon. Serenade on Ocarina of Time. 4 hearts and shieldless. It's nothing if not a bold play. And we do finally have a foolish hint.
Oh, we just missed it.
As chat's pointing out, we do have our first of 3 foolish hints, and it is Hyrule Castle. Everyone enjoys seeing that whole 1 hint.
There we go. Good job, Rafa.
Yeah. I despise Strength 1 Link Goron. Can't do it.
Especially because it is still in logic with just Strength 1, too. Ooh, Prescription. We haven't gotten a Bigoron hint yet, either.
Not gotten a Bigoron hint. With these settings, Bigoron is an always, so we should be getting a hint at some point for it.
Imagine buying the Hylian shield for 80 rupees when the mirror shield is just sitting in the Deku Theater.
It is true. It's true. That is very low sphere mirror shield.
Oh,
And
hey,
there's our
a
scale.
scale.
There's our scale. That is not a bomb locked scale. And our Song of Storms on Bolero. So we are 2 songs away from it's 2 at the moment.
And we know Ice has Song of Time, so we just need Sun Song. Have we seen what was in the windmill? I don't think we've seen the windmill yet.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's made it to Adult Cack yet.
We don't even necessarily need water to not be bomb locked. I think if the windmill just has Sun Song, then we're good. What was the Stalfos check? Was that a key?
I would believe so, because we have 1 key, and I know Jack's already used 1 of theirs.
Ooh, there's a boomerang. Oh no. Yeah, the recoil to the Floor Master isn't in logic, but he has strength.
Yeah, they've...
Oh wait, no, but we don't have a bow, so the only way we can get there logically is with hovers. So yeah, that's not in logic. Alright, where was that boomerang?
That, I believe, would be in the crater grotto. Looking at doing 2 fairy fountains and a grotto. The place I can think of that would be in the crater.
Cool.
And that's chat confirming it.
He hasn't even done the Stalfos check yet.
Yeah, there was a
There is a key on the
there was
outside.
a key on the first room. Yeah, they've got a shield. They should be fine on these Stalfos.
I don't see a shield.
Oh, I thought I saw them crouching. Well, they've got 4 hearts. They can get, you know.
And they
time.
got their fairy now. That's fine.
If they can get the hitbox, which they do. There is a key on the Southwest check. Just useful until the end. Advantage of the storms picked up in the crater. And there's our big Oron hint. It is dead, so that description need scare us no longer.
And then treasure chest game had a wallet.
And Jack's bailing from forest rather than continuing to go.
Well, he can't continue anymore. He's done everything he can.
Yeah, no bombs, you can.
Base bot strikes again. I love that. But we have almost all of the well in logic, and
We've not got any chews yet. So
yeah, we're
we
only
are
missing
beholden to logic at the moment.
we're only missing 2 checks with it though, without bombs or chews.
And you were right. Rushing these field checks now. Presumably hoping that that Kakiri sword is just sitting on one of these Sphere 1 grottos.
Right.
Not this one, unfortunately. Probably dreading the idea of it being in the Tektite grotto, but I believe there's only 2 checks left in the field. Grotto and
3. We
Tektite.
got
Oh,
scrub,
and the
remote,
scrub.
and Tektite. I always forget about the scrub because I'm like, there's no hint stone there.
Yeah, I always forget about. I used to always forget about the scrub until I lost 2 seeds in a row to forgetting about the scrub.
It's not
And
the
the
Tektite.
Tektite grotto is dead, so we can definitely get the Path to Deku item. Just the hammer.
Imagine if it's Rudo's letter though.
Well, that's not as bad because you do have a boomerang.
Yeah,
It
but
means you
Jabu's
can
a
get a
stone.
bottle. Yeah. It's awkward. It's time.
Imagine though if it's
It's
not for Jabu, but it's so you can go do ice for Song of Time, so that you can get your bow in forest, vanilla bow, and then Phantom Ganon has your K sword.
Oh, come on, that's nothing compared to Ruto's letter logic, where it's not Ruto's letter, it's the bottle that's the logic.
Right? Alright, so it's got to be the scrub. There's literally nothing else.
Yep. There aren't that many checks in fields. It is a very neat wath or path to get, because outside of Tektite Grotto, there's only a small number of checks and they're low sphere.
The craziest bit of logic I've ever seen, though, is a seed. It was 51 available scrubs. You needed 50 of them to get your second wallet off of Unfreezing King Weep. so that you could.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Dear.
You could
That's-
unfreeze King Weep to get the Paradox Letter, to then get Hook Shot in Ice Cavern. So that no, it was first Hook Shot on King Weep after unfreezing him with the second wallet on 50 skulls, so that you could go into Forest for Ruto's Letter to get your long shot out of Ice, and then you also had to get Dins out of Jabu for Spirit Temple Logic.
That is some bad news, Alpha. That was a slingshot in your path to Goma.
Ooh.
It's what you never want to see. It's the skippable item. And that's chat's dreams of IGC path to Goma sadly dying. I win my bet in saying that wasn't going to happen.
Get your guesses in chat what you think Jax is going to get a time for in this.
I'm going to say 51.
I'm going to say 53 with that bonk he had.
I did not notice the bonk. Too excited by the thought of fishing on Rafa's side.
But yeah, IGC can't be Path to Goma now, unfortunately.
They still
But it
have
could
not-
still be, IGC could still be Path to Morpha though. Morpha being our last medallion. It could be Deku has Strength 3 for Long Shot or Irons in Light Trial.
If we're looking for something to be in IGC, I would say it's a lot more likely to be Shadow Temple, as we already have a strength in the path location.
That's true. Finally getting his hammer. Or their
Let's get
hammer,
their
sorry.
hammer.
Getting their hammer.
It's 45 minutes in, and that'll Kakariko. No, the time often changes depending on whatever your spawns were, but that is a long time.
Kakarika's on the path to Bongo. Wait,
And
I think that's
speaking
the
of
third. No, that's
Speaking
not
of
the third. never mind.
Kakariko to Bongo, that is Din's Fire in Kakariko.
Alrighty then.
That strength of the Re-Dead Grotto, not as scary anymore.
Right. We've seen the person once from both stringers. Okay.
And there's the Sun Song in the Windmill, another child song.
Alright, so now all we need to do is find Ruto's letter in a not bomb locked location, and we have our first logical bomb bag on Frogs 2.
And all we need to find is a bottle, and we will get an actual first bomb bag in on Frogs 2.
Yeah.
Once you know that you're only one song.
Oh
away
hey,
from it.
look at that!
Speaking of, there we go. So I think that is definitely a possible first bomb bag on Frogs 2.
100% first bomb bag on Frogs 2.
Well, we don't know where the other ones are, so it could be possible that there are 2 available. But that's definitely the first accessible bomb bag for Frogs 2, and I would be surprised if we don't see that from one or both of our runners. Jack's having that.
Well,
Jack's having that
Rafa
Rito's
is
letter,
going
I'm
back child, even though he never did.
He's forgotten about the windmill song.
He's either forgotten about the windmill song or it just wasn't tracked. The scale was Forest Temple Floor Master, yeah. Oh god, that's hilarious.
Yes, that is one of the. Well, there's 2 differentiators here. One is Jax has done the windmill song that Rafa had fortunately missed. Having missed the windmill song, you know, do you remember that? And
yes, we can. No, we can't logically get into the river yet, but all we need is hover boots.
Orbits or bow.
No, we might be able to, depending on what else is in Ice Cavern, I think. Because Ice is going to give us Song of Time, so that gives us logical access to the Courtyard in Forest, but not necessarily the Floor Master.
Master. But with that
Bow
Ruto's
Hovers are
letter,
the other scale, yeah. There we go. Bow
with the
Hovers are
Ruto's
the other
letter,
scale.
Ruto's letter, we do have Boomerang. That was a very early sphere as well. That was just locked behind the Sphere Zero Hammer, so the entirety of
True.
Jabu is also available for one of those items.
Well,
There's
not
a lot in logic.
necessarily, because we still need bombs to get either bow, hovers, other scale, or bombs to access Jabu, logically. Because the scale is out of logic.
And Jax will also be picking up the bad news shortly about the slingshot past the Goma.
Alright, we got... Everything's available in here for the most part. In the well. Because even though we can't logically get access, we can still see the most of the bomb lock text in... There we go. Good job.
It's an awkward throw, if anyone's ever tried it. It's not something you ever really see. It's the boomerang. Well, it is Stone Jabu, and that's the only time the boomerang isn't deep in logic.
Yeah. But yeah, Minuet and Bolero are locked behind water and shadow.
The differentiator here is Jax has done the courtyard and a slight amount extra out of logic in forest, while Rafa has gone to the well instead. See which one pays off as far as items go.
I personally think Jax is in the lead right now, having Ruto's letter. Hasn't gotten Boomerang yet, but they haven't been able to go to
Just haven't
DMC
gone up that.
yet. Yeah. But they have Ruto's letter. They also have the light arrows already. They also
I think
have
it's
done
too
that
early
little
and
bit
with
of forest.
too much.
Yeah, no, there's still... Oh yeah, no,
They-
it's like a very slight lead at this point. But I do think they're slightly in the ahead.
Yeah, I think if you're saying one's in lead, I think the only thing that puts Jax in the lead is having done that windmill check.
Yeah. And what's gonna hurt even more though for Rafa is he got Din's in there, so he may not be gross. Water flash. Anyways, he got the Dins as a child, so he may not be thinking that he didn't get nice titties. That he didn't
They
get
need to go
the
back.
yeah, there we go. I couldn't articulate that.
We are magic away from a wallet, so if our magic is in the fire temple, chance that that's bottom of the well may be our path to Volvagia.
Potentially, yeah.
Hasn't been so much in the well so far. It's been fortunate for Rafa.
Yes, Virgil. Suns was on the storm track.
We move chat into a more visible place so I don't see you guys.
Hey, he set the hook this time. Good job, Jax. They set the hook this time. We appreciate you, Jax.
Frogs 2 is a bomb bag. So far, it's the only bomb bag we know of. Jack's having a little bit of trouble getting this lunker of a fish to shore.
Weighs a whole 10 pounds. It weighs more than a gallon of milk.
It'd be best to know me. I use magic.
It weighs more than 3.2 liters of milk.
It's a lot of milk.
All of that for the winner!
Winner. You know, it's a winner fish.
He drank his malt. He got strong enough to be a winner.
And another big in the well. Is this going to pay off?
It's
a fish.
Oh, we've
It's
got.
a non-winner fish, but it is emotionally supporting.
But also, this means that Rafa has access to their Song of Time now.
It's true. That is well, not logically, but yes, you can now jump over the king's head.
All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't stop Link from jumping the head.
That is true.
What is ESF?
Emotional support fish. Anyone who is subscribed to Jaxstronomy will be legally obligated to post the emotes if Jax gets that fish. Else I will tell them you didn't do it.
I guess
Got
I
a
must
list.
be behind
You
on
will
the
go on the list.
You mean like this?
That is true. That is the emote.
Oh my god, I love that.
It's a very good.
That is so cute. It's an emotional support fish.
Well, Dastar, this may be a good seed for Jack's emotes because we do have Echo Tree being Path to Morpha. Unfortunately, we don't have the Kikiri sword yet, so it'll be a while until we do get into the Echo Tree.
Dastar, do I seriously show up and find toilet dead hint? I'm out. And it's not necessarily dead. It's a key.
It may be logically required, but I think Dastar cares about logic. I think many of chat do. Jax manually hitting each boulder hammer twice.
Surprise!
Maybe they're regretting
Neither
not
of
buying a
them
shield.
did the spin slash strats for this. Oh, because they don't have magic. Never mind, I'm dumb. The spin slash strats for CSMC only works if you have magic.
Oh, if you don't have magic, it still zooms the hammer up. Magic makes it harder because it darkens the background.
Huh. I didn't.
Anything involving the spin slash changing the angle of the camera still works without magic.
Oh, okay, cool. I learned something new today. Also, yes, Jax is on team Don't Buy a Shield.
I've had a lot of rupees the whole get interest. Buy that shield.
Hashtag buy a shield responsibly, though. Yeah, they also know where Mirror Shield is. There's no excuse for them to not have a shield at this point.
Buy a shield anyway. You're an adult. When are you going back, child, to pick up a mirror shield?
I would have done it in my Child 1, to be honest. I'd have been like, ooh, I can get a Mirror Shield. I don't need to spend money. Let's go do that.
Nocturne on Saria's or Minuet?
Nocturne was on Saria's.
I was on Saria's, so you would have... Yeah, you'd have Prelude and Nocturne in Child
Because
1.
you would use Requiem from Malin to go get Lullaby from Colossus, get Nocturne from Saria's, and get Prelude from the Grave.
And once you have Nocturne and Prelude, it's not a huge time sink anymore.
So my girlfriend is playing Breath of the Wild next to me on our big TV, and I keep looking over every now and then, being surprised at how many polygons Breath of the Wild has compared to all of the polygons of OOT.
Well, you know, this has 64 bits. I don't know how many bits Switch has.
It's like a
Any bits?
yeah, it's a 3-digit bit amount at minimum.
Sure, it can have more than 256 colors too.
Oh my gosh, 256 colors? That's a madman's color scheme. Oh yeah, because Prelude isn't given to them for free, they still have to actually play the notes rather than just getting the song.
Yep.
I'm spoiled by scrubs at this point.
I think that's more the dev build rather than
Well, no, because even on the dev build, if you do free Zelda but don't start yourself with a song, then it'll still make you play them. It's because there's a song out of the shuffle pool.
Ah, right, yeah.
Raph is doing Drink Pot! Let's go!
Everyone's least favorite pot.
And he got it second try. Yeah, it's basically song sanity as far as randomizer is concerned. Exactly.
As far as I'm aware, this is one of the few...
It's a Willet!
As far as I'm aware, this is one of the few logical, normally logical checks that was actually removed from the logic pool because everyone hated it so much.
Oh yeah. The amount of times that Trent's pot was required for your first bomb bag? No.
Yeah.
Will it? Won't it? Wallet.
Bias practicing
For everything
his
else,
upcoming career in
MasterCard.
advertisements.
Hylian Shield, 80 rupees. Deku Sticks, 10 rupees.
A vanilla slingshot.
Nice.
Unfortunately, that does mean that the slingshot is more likely to be path for the actual Deku tree than our access to the Kakiri sword.
Mystery item from a scrub, 40 rupees. Finding that final casino item and getting to stab a sword through Ganon, priceless. There are some things that Willets can buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
For the first one to complete the Skullmask quest, and is as such the first to get that mirror shield. So
now here's what's going to be the hard thing. When the hard bomb lock checks, like above King Dodongo's room and Bomb 2 Bowling and all that, have all of our chews.
yeah, we don't know where any of those bomb chews are yet, so there is much less chance of going out of logic to avoid that awkward bomb bag.
Hashtag not actually sponsored by MasterCard. Yes, this is not sponsored whatsoever.
But if anyone with a corporate card is listening, join our Discord.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag might be able to be sponsored, maybe. Who knows? Depends on how much money you want to throw. Second wallet's on the treasure chest game, yeah.
It does mean that Bronze Tunic in the well is not required. So, as I'm aware, else was in the well. I don't think there was anything.
There was a couple of things. There was the bottle, there was titties, and that's it, I think.
Double defense, yeah. So nothing required, but nice quality of life items.
It's like, could this be a sponsored stream? Nah, surely I just unless. Beyond Childside, who would have guessed with required path to Twin Rova being Requiem? Or Requiem path to Twin Rova, yeah.
Twin Rova path to Requiem.
2 keys?
Interesting
okay,
logic.
that's a little more interesting. That could be, yeah. I love doing the little backflip when I smack the thing. I finally learned how to do that, and it's so fun.
Yeah, my controller is... Yeah, the analog stick is a bit tilted forward, so I cannot drop off ledges. It just immediately tries to climb the ledge every time I fall off.
You should be able to change your dead zone then.
Should, but that involves going back into RetroArch controller setup.
Ew, gross.
Is hell.
Happy 1 hour, everybody. We're a few minutes late on it, but happy 1 hour.
Happy 1 hour if someone
Oh,
could
into dongos. Ooh.
Oh, into
And
dongos.
that's logical too.
That's very
So
logical with that
no.
hammer.
No, what that means is Frogs 2 is in logic. That bow puts Frogs 2 in logic. Ooh. Stone to Dongos rides again.
And as we've tipped to 1 hour, again, I'd like to say a happy 1 hour to everyone. Thank you to Baseball for One for putting hands in, because I don't know. Baseball is also, if the chat can stop moving, stop speaking everyone, I'm trying to thank people. There we go. Baseball is also one of our trackers.
Engaging in our content. We're trying to engage in our own content.
So thank you to our trackers, the unsung heroes of these streams. We have Shanok, we have Baseball, and we have Vaiva. Our runners, jaxstronomy and Rafa, their Twitch links are there. They both stream, I believe, so give them a follow if you want. On commentating is me. I don't stream, so don't follow me. And we have our returning hero Bitsy.
Hey.
And also, thank you.
Another bomb bag.
Another
Damn
bomb bag.
Damn it!
As soon
I wanted
as
Fox
we get
to be the only illogical.
as soon as we get the logic.
He went to go do a ground jump and realized, oh, I still haven't bought a shield.
Yeah. And thank you, last but not least, to Tobias for restreaming and giving us this content.
Here's the thing, though. You get that in the compass chest before you ever climb. If you were a madman, you could be like, you know what? Screwed Stone DC. I'm just going to go get my bomb bag first.
Yeah.
Always a bomb bag in DC, but normally it's a bomb-locked bomb bag. That one wasn't.
Yeah, but you don't sack DC when it's got a shortcut. At least go into the... You at least go to get the shortcut. Climb that far.
That's fair. Ironically, exactly in the same spot as during my scrubbed race earlier today. Speaking of which, with Tobias, if he can win the next 2 of his matches, and I win my next 1 match, we will face each other in grand finals.
Spirit Temple so far coming up somewhat blank. Looks like Jax will be the first of the 2 to beat a dungeon. Unfortunately, it is a stone dungeon.
Tobias, no, you have to face me in grands. When we couldn't face each other in round 2, I said it was going to be grands. No pressure, though. Yes, pressure. Pressure, no. Pressure, yes.
Oh, come on. Tobias, you're a programmer. You only work under pressure. No programmers.
That's fair.
And that is an
Like,
adult
oh,
side
hey,
key.
that's not supposed to work. Let me try to fix it. Oh, crap, now everything's broken. Wait, it was literally that simple? Why does this work? The life of a programmer.
That is a key on adult side, so you're not... So you can go this far without... So...
Maybe able to go this far,
yeah.
but the
Logically,
fact
not so
that there
much,
was at least a key on child side means that Twin Rova is locked by Requiem.
Yeah.
I can't believe I have to click a stone. Oh no. To be fair, he could have just save quit here. He didn't necessarily have, or they could have just save quit here. They didn't necessarily have to leave.
Yeah, but Water Temple is required, and Serenade doesn't make it easy. And the nice arrows.
Nice.
One step closer to Bongo Bongo.
DC is the emerald, baby.
And our trackers, unfortunately, not guessing stones correctly. And that is Zelda's Lullaby locking a key in spirit as well.
Ironically enough, we have enough in logic to go get Serenade right now if we wanted. Jabu's fully in logic, and Forest is fully in logic.
That is true. There we go. I think I'm back. You all able to hear me?
I can hear you. Can
That's
chat
good.
hear us? Testing, testing.
At least one of us can. At least one of chat can hear us.
That's good.
All
right.
And Jane, I'm hoping that, but why would we want to is not with regards to hearing us. I may have to ask Tobias to eject you.
No, if we wanted to is in regards to when I said we could go get Serenade if we wanted to.
Well, it gives you easy Water Temple items.
Alright. Jax is finally on their way to get their Mirror Shield. But first, a quick stop in the market.
Yep.
And
While
they
you're
could
here,
get
you
a
might as
piece
well-
of heart.
While you're here, you might as well clear out these checks. It's an easy spot to forget.
To be
Wow.
fair, I always get the bomb shoes from the... Oh, hey, look at that!
Speaking of, having a quick visit here, that is definitely a required item for 2 of our medallions.
I also always get the 10-pack of chews here for the third prize because even though it's the longest, it's also the cheapest way to get 10 chews, and I use chews for Volvagia because I can't do bomb strats.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I may consider doing that if I knew how to do bomb chew bowling. I don't.
There's a really good setup on YouTube, but it's pretty much, if it's not the dead center one for the second and on, you just hold a bomb chew back all the way up with Z target, let go of Z, let yourself get blown up. That sets you at the perfect angle. You then hold Z, go like 4 or 5 black tiles from the left side, and then just launch a chew.
Yeah. Just eat bombs at it until it hits. But yeah, so both Morpha and Goma are bomb locked. Hard bomb locked.
Oh yeah.
That bag before we can do bomb chew bowling.
I just do it vanilla. I'm that good. Also, I don't know the setup. Let me see if I can find the video that I used.
Who needs setup when you have skill? Raw talent. I'm not quite sure what Rafa's trying to peek here. I know he was looking for the chests before, but I believe he left the dungeon, so he can't Yeah. As he's just done, he needs to make the chests reappear before he can peek them.
Yeah, that YouTube video is the one that I used to get good on Bombchu Bowling. And now I can get it very quickly and very easily. Wait, where was the magic? I missed Rafa getting magic. Spirit Boss Key, okay.
I could remember it was Spirit. Couldn't remember the which check.
Because I was thinking they still didn't have, or still didn't have magic. And I was like, oh, are we going to see bow crap? And then I look up and like, oh wait, no, they have magic.
And chat, our resident spirit key logic expert, mentioning that the magic is 5 key locked.
It isn't necessarily second magic, because you could get into this room and just do it vanilla with Deku sticks. Yes, it is 5 key locked, but this room isn't fully magic locked like it is in the main room. Is this room also 5 key locked?
I'm just going to take their word for it.
I'm confused, seeing as how one of the keys is literally right here, and you would get into that before you would get into that other room before you needed to use that key. It's 1 key plus fire source, or 5 keys, no fire source. Or 3 keys plus furious hand waving.
Oh, just about to say Rafa is 1 hit away from a death here. Fortunately, double defense not saving him.
Oh, that's right. Okay, thank you, Rhea. I was thinking everything like boss key, tippy top, and control. I thought those were all 5, and anything else that required a lot of keys before that were 4. Also, yes, F in the chats for them.
And Jax will be the first to enter Deku.
So how it works is you roll a d6, you take away 1, and that's how many keys you need to get into that room. Right. No, I'm thinking of the room right before the Iron Knuckle on Child's side. The one where you have to light the torches. I always thought that was 4 key locked.
There has been a lot of variation in here. Rafa being the first to dip spirits and is now reversing, presumably for GTG.
Specifically as Child is 5 key locked. Okay.
Personally, I'd have been waiting to get Song of Time before dipping.
Dipping what?
GTG.
Oh, hey, there. Who would have thought that the slingshot would have held the long shot?
Well, it could have been the Iron Boots. There were 2 things that could be the path to Orpha. Just more likely that it would be the long shot.
You need 5 to get there specifically as Child, since the logic assumes... Oh, yeah, right, because logic assumes you're an idiot and immediately uses every key in the worst possible way. And so you could have 4 keys, use all of them, and still not be able to access that room as a Child. Okay, that makes sense. I have done the impossible. I have understood Child or Spirit key logic.
The real commentator trick is to just and say Spirit key logic. Don't go into detail, just
Oh, yeah.
odd so people think you're an expert.
Oh, hey! Iron Boots in IGC? Iron Boots in IGC?
It's definitely possible. Could still be hover boots in IGC. There could be nothing
That's
in IGC
true.
at all, and it's all bait.
To be fair to logic, I am indeed an idiot. That is true for me too.
And Rafa getting the angle slightly wrong and being stabbed in the gut by an angry woman.
How dare Rafa commit the sin of being a man? Throw him in the dungeon forever. Imagine if the game didn't check to see if you had hookshot and just soft locked you in there.
Actually imprisoned for life.
I tried that being a man thing. It wasn't for me. Same, Rhea. Same. Yeah, but don't like take his stuff. Just throw him in the dungeon with all of his equipment. Ooh. Imagine, though, if you have less than 4 carpenters to save, when you get caught by the Gerudo, instead of getting thrown in that dungeon area where they normally throw you, you get thrown in one of the empty cages.
Yeah. Don't know if that would work considering you have the key for it.
Well, I mean, it'd be an unlocked door, but it'd be cool from like a rando perspective to see where you get landed. Because if you have more than 1 to save, but less than 4, it could tell you which ones don't need to be saved. You could purposely get caught to see where you end up. Well, of course, what prisoner would ever try to actually break out of jail? It's not like Sweden has it in either their laws or some type of code or whatever that you don't get punished for trying to escape. Because freedom is an inherent human trait, or something like that.
And
Nice one cycle from Jax. They did a great job with that.
And that is there's a big chest on the fortress.
Oh, hey, look, another bow. Germany? Okay. I could have sworn it was multiple places in Europe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's many countries in Europe that do that.
So here's the thing, that's Rafa knowing where that his bomb bag in Frogs 2 is in logic, but isn't going to be bailed out with the immediate second bomb bag.
Right.
There is...
But they also don't know where... Or he also doesn't know where Sunsong is because he didn't check the windmill.
That is also true. I'm not sure if that counts as a bailout, but... See if horseback archery has anything. There's still quite a few items left to go.
Five arrows left needs 320 points. 3 left needs 120. 260s or 100 and anything landing. And there we go. 1680, first try.
Next getting their second sling. Slinglot sling.
And they got half, he got half his money back. Yay. Yeah, anything you do to break out can still be punished, but the actual act of breaking out would not be punished. Now, is Rafa going to go to GTG?
Quite sure where he's
Farming money?
getting more.
Oh, they're going to buy bomb. He's going to buy bomb shoes. He's farming the money for him. He's going to go to the carpet salesman and buy bomb shoes.
That's one way to get explosives. Then again, he does know where one of the bomb bags is, potentially the first logical one, and it is not a nice spot.
But for him, it could still require him to beat water and shadow before he ever gets it.
Like, it would not be possible, as you can't logically do Shadow without bombs.
Well, water then, because he's still missing Sun Song,
Exactly.
and he'd still have to go all the way out to ice. Oh, wait, he could do Mweep Skip, but he logically knows that he can't get it yet, so that could just be why he's saying fuck it. Also buffering.
In the meantime, we're seeing the rest of Childgorn City on Jax's side. They couldn't do the to begin with, and that looks to be the wallet. Ah, this is the wallet that we already saw from Rafa's. And we wait for Rush on Rafa's side. See where Jax goes next. Of course, they haven't got the mirror shield yet. Yeah, baseball list just needs a refresh. It is interesting that they have covered so much different ground, each of them. Unfortunately, I don't think the ground Rafa has covered has been quite as useful as the ground Jax has covered. Even then, that's only one Dongo's Cavern dip. Rafa needs to be on relatively level pegging. Doesn't look like we missed too much from Rafa's side during the outage. Looks at the rupee count. I assume they only ran to get the bomb and it came back.
Yeah. Maybe had to go farm one more time to get the money for it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh yeah, no FW, no magic on Jack's side to drop FW and Jabu. That sucks. I forgot Frogs 1 was a thing, and I was like, wait, they already have a bomb bag. What are they doing?
Oh, don't worry, you are far from the only person to forget Frogs 1 exists. And there's...
No! No!
I think Jax is just getting money here as opposed to trying to pick up a second bomb bag.
I think so. They haven't even done ice yet, so they can't do it anyways. But Frogs 1 having shoes has got to be the biggest irony. Especially if it's the 20 pack.
I mean, the other option was Jax was going to do Frogs 2 for the fans.
Yeah. But again, they still hadn't done ice yet, so they couldn't quite do Frogs 2. Frog Sanity, every single Frog song is a check, is a surprisingly annoying randomizer setting. I would love that, though.
They've got enemy sanity now, so as far as settings go, it's plenty worse than Frog sanity.
Honestly, I think my favorite settings to play are scrub settings, but small key sanity, where the small keys can be anywhere. Or no, just key sanity. So small keys and boss keys can be anywhere, but Ganon's is still lax. Ooh, I'll have to try that out, Tobias.
Foolish, so... Only Fountain and Hyrule Castle, so we are still missing one foolish hint. And there's a second magic from Rafa's side. Both of them are in the Gerudo section, so That is one thing Rafa has over jaxstronomy at this point in the race. Really the only thing, fortunately. See how long it takes Jax to go to the Rudo side. Spirit being required, and them having strength 2 already, I can't see it being that long, so that advantage Rafa has is only going to last for so long. A huge number of keys so far. GTG. So they're all hiding in the maze. Rafa has also not dipped ice, so will not be able to get to the right-hand side of the maze without scumming those keys. Which I think he'll do.
When you hand in Rudo's letter, there's a random number of unskippable weeps. Oh god, rejected on principle. Yeah. The squiggle thing. Yeah, on the right of the boomerang, yeah, that's their strength. It's supposed to be a gauntlet, but the fingers for the gauntlet kind of blend in with the background.
Yeah. It is a different color, you just need to look.
Oh hey,
look
both
down.
magics were strength 2 locked. That's hilarious. Oh my god, another bow. There was so many different ways. Actually, no, that one's technically a bomb or a scale locked bow.
Yeah. We needed
So it's a bomb locked bow,
Yeah,
yeah.
we need the bow for the domain access.
It's a bow locked bow.
If I tried to do awkward peaks here, that was definitely a key on the right side, but I didn't see the other right hand side.
Oh hey, Kak is on the path for Volvagia too. I called that shit.
Well, with that bomb being hammerlocked, with the bomb bag we know being hammerlocked.
It's not even hammer locked, it's just strength locked. Because the logical bomb bag into Dongo's cavern, you just needed its strength, so that you could go up to the bomb bag platform.
Yes,
it was
one of them
pretty much
Mido,
French
wasn't it?
vanilla. What's up?
Yeah, and the only other strength was, well, the other strength was Mido, so
Yeah.
that's Sphere 0.
Yeah, so the Mido's strength gets you your bomb bag. So hovers could just be fucking anywhere.
Yep. We don't even know if the hovers are required for fire yet either. Nobody touched the
No, but they are required for shadow.
It will be, yeah, but they wouldn't be on the Volvagia path.
Oh my god, imagine though, because Kakariko's Bongo and Volvagia, imagine if 20 Skulls just has our freaking hovers.
Well, that's why the people say, always clear your watts.
Yeah, full clear watts. Ooh, you gotta stun him again. Maybe not, alright. I've never been able to do that. Good job. I'm learning a lot from them today.
Yeah, these are 2 experienced runners, they know what they're doing.
Could have hovers in Jabu or Ice, very true. At this point, you could have hovers in Light Trial, too.
With the item set you have, it's not awful play to go to Fire Temple just to see if you are hovers locked. That will give you a good amount of information about where those hovers could be.
Yeah, that's true. "90 minutes in, and we have a grand total of 4 dungeon rewards between both runners. And 3 of those belong to one runner. Oh, he was just off on, or they were just off on the angle.
The angle's slightly off.
That's a good angle, though. There you go. They got it.
Heading back to Spirit Temple now, to finish it off. And it must feel interesting to have Twin Rova as your first boss. Interesting, Jack's going for a child climb as opposed to heading straight to adult. You know, it's probably a better idea just to go straight to adult and back, but as Chat's saying, she's got the long shot. They've got the long shot, so you can just to see the mirror lock checks as well. There's one key mirror locked. That is very true, you know. Jack's saying that Jax may be worried about having the big key locked on one of the fire checks. Because they don't know magic's here.
True.
We know it would work fine.
They're going to be sorely surprised when they find magic on the boss key.
They're not losing a huge amount of time doing it.
Oh, yeah.
It's only somewhat faster. And with the long shot, it's not like you're going to be doing the iron knuckle, spending the key.
That's true.
Take that one key to the adult side, so... And it seems that's exactly what they're doing.
I haven't seen Jack's pause, so I don't know how many chews they got from Frogs 1 yet.
Chat says it was 10. Oh.
It was 10? Okay.
You're usually paying more attention than I am. Their trackers are filling up, so what else do we need other than hovers? Nocturne was nice and early. Inns was nice and early. Even it's only hovers left.
Hovers and irons.
Water access. Either irons or a second scale.
Oh my god, fire arrows in Haunted Wasteland. That's hilarious. But yeah, Sadie, Frogs 2 had a logical potential first bomb bag with scale and where all the child songs were. It was absolutely hilarious.
Oh,
Rafa
right.
already found irons. Where were
Yeah.
irons?
One of the invisible chests in Spirit Temple. It was only be a couple of minutes ago. I was looking at Jax's side, unfortunately, at the time, so we didn't.
I was too, yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so it was invisible chest with the BK and the irons. Okay.
So yeah, we are hovers from Go.
Yeah, we
And
needed a
yes,
bow or hovers to put Frogs 2 in Logic. We found a bow in DC, and literally the next chest was also a bomb bag in DC. But then we found another in Logic bow away from DC, and that was on Rafa's side in Gerudo Fortress. So he could still be thinking bomb bag is there.
so if you're rooting for Rafa here, you really want to see him go to market as soon as possible. That's what's hamstringing
Well, the
him here.
problem is Rafa can't go to market because, well, I mean, they can, obviously, but they can't do the checks we need them to in market because they
Yeah,
still don't have
they
the
don't
bomb
have the
bag.
bomb bag yet. They know where one is and can get to, or they could just go to Dodonko's Cavern. That's up. Basically, the
We have.
entirety of that dungeon is Sphere 1 in this seed, so...
I don't know if we've seen Hammer Rocks. Have we seen Hammer Rocks?
I don't believe we've
Because
seen that.
I think Rafa just did reverse Wasteland. I thought.
Reverse Wasteland, and I think he warped right out of... No, he did the Fortress checks, but I didn't see him doing Hammer Rocks.
Yeah, I saw him do the Fortress checks.
To be fair, if there wasn't anything in Hammer Rocks, it would fall out of my brain immediately.
Right.
And that's our tracker saying that we did see Hammer Rocks, so it did fall out of my brain and nothing there.
Okay.
This was a check Rafa wasn't able to do the first time round as he was out of bombs, but now that he has the bomb shoes, we can check this fairy fountain. And there are the hover boots. So the chat is now in no mode, and unfortunately that would be bad news for Rafa fans, as chances of jaxstronomy going to that fairy fountain after Spirit are quite high. They will also get the magic very shortly in the big key chest of Spirit. And with the hovers, the irons they're going to get in the invisible chest here, and the magic further up in Spirit, that should be them in go mode. An annoyingly long go mode, considering they've only got 2 medallions, but mode nonetheless.
Yes, there very well could be a bomb bag in Shadow. Rafa's not 100% out of this. They just got a decent bit to go.
Yeah.
Because here's the Iron Boots for Jax. They're about to get their magic right here. No, not right here. It's in the Bosky chest. Oh, hey, an emotional support
One of
buggo.
the issues for Rafa is that there isn't anything pointing to the Kiri sword being bomb locked. Even once he gets the bomb bag, it's a matter of when does he go market?
That's true. That's very true.
Spin to win strats on the dead hands, my favorite. But the hands getting in the way. Nope, overall, smooth dead hand. And a required dead hand. Yes, Shinnok, we did have Field Path to Goma for these slingshots. It's always the least favorite thing to see when your Path to Goma is a slingshot rather than the sword.
I was playing PC Builder Simulator the other day, and I unlocked a case called the Big Chungus. And I just thought that was absolutely amazing.
There's irons and magic for X. They are only the hovers from Go. Matter of whether they will head to the Colossus Ferry directly after beating Twin Rova, which I think they will. They tend to clear areas pretty thoroughly. It's still all to play for if I can find that bomb bag, that third bomb bag sitting in
Third bomb bag sitting on Bongo would just be hilarious.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time Bongo had an item. Yeah, I can't see Jax avoiding the ferry either. Picked up the bomb bag, still got plenty of them. It's really the only way they would have that is if they forget. And there is a big chest in shadow. And it's Nehru's Love. It is not a bomb bag.
I have legitimately used Nehru's Love against Salt and Pepper before because I was rushing to beat the game and didn't want to have to go try to heal, so I just used Nehru's Love.
Yeah, it's not useless. It's not a Stone of Agony. It's a long animation. Unfortunately, we've already seen the ice arrows, Sadie.
I think the only thing we're missing from Meme Percent is Greg and Bonk.
Did we see the Stone of Agony?
I don't think so. I call it Bonk now.
Ah. Well, that Bonk is Nehru's Love. Nehru's Love can be logically required in Bonko. Nehru's can be Path in Bonko. And Rova being awfully annoying jaxstronomy here. Even more awkward patterns for Twin Rova. Jaxstronomy really not getting very lucky with these patterns here. Or those hitboxes. But they hit at least in the end. Yeah, Jax has a very clear path for the rest of the game if they remember to do that ferry. Do that ferry there in a annoyingly long go mode, but still, it takes a lot of the processing power off of brain's processing power off of working out the logic, and you can solely focus on your execution. I do say I have to find it quite amusing, quite interesting that Rafa's first two dungeons here have been Shadow and Spirit for Dongo's Cavern. That's what it's come down to, avoiding those early sphere checks. Party to Dungo's Cavern was all Sphere 1, whether you got the Sphere 0 Strength from Ido or the Sphere 0 Hammer, Kariko. That whole dungeon was in logic, outside of the last 2 checks. Chances of it having something useful weren't low. Jax save quitting. That is interesting. Hitting those hovers. Do they have better idea of where they're going to go, though? Is there a method to this, Matt? And is that method called Ice Cavern? Oh, it's called Fire Temp. That would make sense, as chat's saying, doing fire to see if hovers could be inside Ganon's castle, as they do have strength 3, they can fully clear it, and they do have the wallet to pick up that Goron tunic. It make fire even easier. Now, the question on how much this play is going to harm Jax is, how deep is that big key?
Hopefully it's just all hovers locked and they can realize, oh hey, my hovers are out there somewhere.
Yep. That is the other thing Jax will learn from dipping fire now, is a better understanding of where hovers are. The Fire Temple is hovers locked. That eliminates A, deep fire, but also the entirety of Ganon's castle.
We can only hope for them.
Yeah. A number of schools of thought would say to go do Water Temple after this as well. Clearing progress over trying to find those hovers. Exactly, they've run out of path hints. So clearing a progress dungeon is not a bad play. We know as chat that it is a bad play as the item isn't there, but logically it makes full sense. That is a good point. Jax hasn't touched GTG or Fortress yet.
That's true.
Other places they can fortunately burn time in. So Rafa takes on the best part of the game, Shadow Temple boat ride. See if there are any Bombach, Deep Shadow, anything to save him extra time. Two keys nice and early in the Fire Temple on the Hammer Loop. So the climb is available. I don't think that angle was deliberate. That was. And there is key 3, so can definitely go deeper into Fire Temple now, past the lava room and towards the block room.
And we have to go all the way to the back storage room to find our final key.
Determine if we're hovers locked or not.
Oh, for Shadow.
Oh, for Shadow. Okay. Yep, that's us being the manager.
So the Din's room had the final key.
Yeah, but Rafa's still searching for items, unfortunately, so he will be checking all of the Shadow Temple. We'll have that Bigoron sword to make the other dungeons easier, though. It looks like Jax will be leaving Shadow Temple for at last. Hasn't found any extra keys so far, so the chances of them being hovers locked are rising. Ice Arrow Strats, I hope the chat is very appreciative of what Rafa's doing here for us.
We got them nice arrows.
Only one nice in chat. Ice Arrow Strats on Bongo. Shame, Silver Gauntlets. Shame. Rafa's second medallion there. Both scores are showing that they both have 3 medallions each, but our trackers are in very different states at the moment. One's still searching for that bomb bag, still searching for that Kakiri sword. You know where they are, but at the moment they could really be anywhere for Rafa. And Ruto's letter in Rafa's mind, he's still looking for that. Finally going back for that windmill song check. Getting the Sun Song one step closer to Brooks 2 bomb bag.
At least he remembered it.
Yeah.
And that might have been BK in the upper maze, possibly.
I'm bad at working out the size of a chest from underneath. Key chest, anyway. As chat pointing out, if that is key, that does mean we are not hovers locked.
We potentially could still be.
Can we? My Fire Temple key logic is not as good as my Water Temple key logic. Yep, and there's another. The guaranteed key on the map chest. Fire Temple has come up relatively empty so far in terms of bait. Yes, I do believe Rafa will be going into Fire Temple by the looks of it. Stone DC once more. Which does make 100% sense. You would want to do fire before DC because it's progress. Goose Cavern isn't required, fire is. You might find that bomb bag here. Or that Ruto's letter. Or the Kakiri sword. Or anything he needs. Hasn't done any of the market checks. Includes those light arrows on Richard, so that is a decent pool of things to do once he does have that bomb bag. And we are not towers locked, so
Alrighty.
unfortunately Jax will not be getting that extra information. Yeah, not learning any information means the rest of the world of Hyrule is still a possibility for those hover boots.
Unfortunately.
Stocking up on bombs. And now we have double fire. Go along with our double spirit. Jaxstronomy was the first to get to 3 medallions. Although I think Rafa deserves some credit for having the first 2 dungeons completed being Spirit and Shadow. On the hammer chest. And to the chat, we have another prediction. The big question here, who is going to win? Get your channel points on the line. And big key on highest Goron, the classic Go mode fire.
And ironically enough, had Jax just went to the Colossus Ferry, they wouldn't have needed to fight and climb up to the Bigoron chest either. Because they could have just hovered over to where highest Goron was.
It could have, but when you're looking for the key, you're going to go to the hammer chest first.
With how hard it is for me to climb that little spiral, I go bigger, highest Goron first if I can.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, they peaked highest Goron before Hammer Chest. Okay, so they were just trying to find the hovers then.
Comes transfer. Jaxie. See if it goes smoothly. Now, Rafa does have that big Goron sword to make Agia much faster when he gets to fight. Jax getting a troll hold there from Trollvagia. Do they have a fairy? They do not. That is a somewhat painful death. Especially considering they're going to be starting on 3 hearts again. It's a good thing they picked up that Goron tunic before entering fire. Yeah, Rafa doesn't have that bomb bag for the Volvagia fight, but they do he does have the big orange sword to make it somewhat faster, less painful not having those bombs. And this is an awkward jump. It is a lot more awkward than it looks to pull off. Second try. Do you Furor's Wind Volvagia and come back, or just slow method kill it? What have they got left? They've got water, they've got Echo and Fire. Yeah, with Water Temple left, you would definitely want to keep your Furor's Wind for Water Temple at least. With a big Oron sword, you're only going to be having her fly twice. You're going to have once of the normal flying and once with her dropping the boulders. So you're not adding much time on by doing casual strats. The painful thing is I don't believe Jax has picked up those ice arrows, so it's not going to be able to use ice arrow strats on Vagia.
I didn't need it. Easy kill, easy life.
It did manage to beat the dragon without the ice arrows.
Oh no, Rafa fell down. No.
Oh. Has the Furor's Wind though to make it back up.
So who's gonna find what first? Is Jax gonna find their hovers, or is Rafa gonna find their bomb bag?
I would say Rafa finds the bomb bag. Being dumped in the crater, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he stood on.
Just goes right to DC and says fuck it.
Yeah. There are a lot of checks. It's very check dense at the moment. It's low sphere checks, so it's not like he needs to go out of logic for any of it. And as chat's saying, and as I mentioned before, getting bomb bag is only half of the problem for Rafa. When does he go to the market to do those checks? Bigger chance that he does go to the market, as he hasn't done any of them yet, any of the nighttime checks. We'll pick up those light arrows too. But he is on the clock until Jax finds those hovers. Rafa forgetting he doesn't have the Song of Time there, and is going to have to make the climb. Chat saying there that if Rafa picks up the bomb bag from Dodongo's Cavern, the only time he's going to go do bomb tube bowling is when he runs out of everything in the adult side. You do want to have that Kakiri sword before you go back to child.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't be surprised if he does the water temple after Dodongo's Cavern. Jax clearing out the rest of their progress. Water temple now. Whether they full clear water or just clear the dungeon, different story. Don't know how much they like water temple. And yes, jaxstronomy is using the DLC. At the Iron Boots emotes in the chat, please. Yeah, with Furor's Wind. With League starting with Furor's Wind, it's a much easier choice of when you dip water and when you full clear water.
Oh, very true.
And I think the fact that they are leaving Furor's Wind in the corridor before Morpha indicates that that's exactly what they're going to do. Find the big key, they're going to beat the boss, they're going to dip, they're going to leave Water Temple. Probably for good. I don't see them coming back in before they do Colossus Ferry.
What would bring Jax back to the Colossus Ferry besides realizing, oh shit, I missed it? Because I think with Epona, you might just run up to GTG with Epona from here after beating water. I don't see you reversing from here.
Yeah, the fact...
And honestly, with Strength 3, I agree. I see them doing IGC even before they touch GTG. There's less keys.
Yep, the fact that they're rushing dungeons makes me think they're trying to get Ganon's castle as fast as possible. Especially considering there was Strength 2 in a hinted path location.
Right.
Wouldn't be surprised if that Strength 2 in Grotto in Kakariko is playing on their mind. And thing to note here is they aren't losing time by doing any of this. They're not in go mode, but they're losing very little time. This is all stuff they would have needed to do anyway. They lost basically 0 time in Fire Temple because they had to full clear it anyway for the boss key. They don't seem to be intending on full clearing water, so they're going to be losing any time here. only time they'll lose is whatever they do after this. A hefty batch of keys from the start of Temple. No boss key, that's still been elusive. Checking the dragon chest early, before the Dark Link loop. That makes sense. You're only looking for one item, it makes sense to do the dragon chest.
Yeah,
For
very true.
committing to Dark Link.
Did Jax forget they found, or not Jax? Did Rafa forget that he found a tunic? Oh, they might be getting more shoes. Yeah, they're getting more shoes. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not good news for Rafa. If he's farming more chews, that's indicating to me that he might be planning on forsaking the bomb bag entirely.
well, also might just be doing that to go do DC.
How many chews have they got?
They had no chews.
Oh, they run out. Okay, that makes sense. Thought they still had.
Or they either ran out or they didn't have enough to do everything they needed to do.
They only need two bomb chews. Zonker's Cavern. He's got the strength. He's got the hammer. Yeah, I think I agree with chat there. That's what I was getting at. That he's banking on doing this seed without bomb bag, which is going to be good if he is going to be using these bomb chews for Donker's Cavern, as he will find that second bomb bag incidentally. And there is the big key for Water Temple, nice and early on the compass chest. So Jax doesn't look like they're going to be losing much time in water at all. And if Rafa's mind is set on doing this seed without a bomb bag entirely, how long is it before Chew Bowling even sticks in your mind? Easy more for grab. Easy boss. And now starts the endless cutscene of beating Water Temple. Jax as the first to 5 medallions, so will be the first to be able to get into Ganon's castle. Still collecting skulls. Haven't seen him pick up one for a while, but it is still in his mind.
And Jack's just trying to remember what they forgot. Oh my
Is
god! Is that the last bomb bag?
That is Bombs 3 on Shoot the
And
Sun.
that is Deku locked.
Is Deku locked and thus bomb locked.
That's hilarious. The only bomb bag not bomb locked was Frogs 2 and DC.
Yeah. So unless Rafa does go to Tatonko's cavern after water.
Randobot's in a mood today.
The fact that Rafa is going into Water Temple with only the hook shot makes me feel that he's going to be doing full Dark Link loop. He's going to be.
I think
hitting
he's
as
just
much
going
as
in to
possible.
get the boss key and dip. Because he has to know that Deku is still on path.
Yeah, but he's still looking for stuff to lead up to that Kakiri sword. Or that Kakiri sword itself.
That's true.
There's nothing to say that Kakiri sword isn't in Water Temple to then go to the Deku tree to then go back into Water Temple. And as we suspected, Jack's immediately heading for Light Trial, taking those golden gauntlets to their highest density location. One big chest. Last slingshot, that's a sling-locked slingshot. Confirming our Goma path. We already knew. Now, how is that slingshot blocked?
I mean, it's locked simply because you needed to beat Deku to get there.
Did you? Need 5 medallions, and Shadow Temple is not locked. Where were the...
Right, but you have to do Deku and Water or Deku and Shadow. Because you can only skip one of them.
Yeah, but the long shot wasn't.
Long shot's in deck. Oh, that's right. That's right.
The slingshot only locks one of the checks in.
Well, field is path. So I unless it assumes you have to get all of them before coming in here, because it can't pick which ones you would do. Kind of like key logic. I think it's simply because it doesn't know which ones you could do, and so it assumes you do all of them first, maybe. That's all I can think of.
No. Paths are if you can do it rather than... Just have the remaining 3 trials. What else is left in Jax's Seed? Deep Water, DTG, well, the entire Gerudo section, other than that one.
I know why. Because you needed to do Spirit. And isn't Boomerang locked somehow behind Slingshot? Where was Boomerang?
And was on the crater, I think.
Okay, so DMC Grotto. Trying to think. Hammer was Sphere 0.
Bombs were Sphere
So
0,
was
so bombs are
Strength.
Sphere 1.
I have no idea why that slingshot is selected then.
I
Where were
agree.
all 3 strength?
Strengths were Mido, Kakariko on the Re-Dead Grotto, and on Sling Locked in Deku Tree. And I agree with chat that really this is a matter of how long is it going to be for Jax to decide to go to the Gerudo section. Because starting from here, they will almost definitely Requiem and reversed across the wasteland. At which point, that's when you put in your Colossus Fairy check. So Rafa is on a time limit now. I do question going for the Water Temple Big Key chest, because you don't know where your long shot is. The chances of your long shot being bomb locked are quite high. There's only so many things that could logically be in this chest for him. But he does have 4 keys, so... And there's a 5th. And Jack's just clearing out the enemies on the way to Ganon. I believe for his wind to make the trek back easier. Doesn't mean they won't be able to use Furor's Wind for Shadow Temple, though. I would 100% see Jax continue climbing here. And die to an Iron Knuckle and not climb again. I guess they'll keep that Furor's Wind for keep the Furor's Wind for saving time in Shadow Temple. Just lay it here. Should stop saying things because they completely contradict me every time I say anything.
In bombs. Oh, they're checking the first couple of Shadow. Okay.
Yeah, you lose no time by doing that. You'll need to do those checks anyway, so doing them whenever you can does make sense.
It does lose time if they end up being useless items, because then you could have just skipped them altogether, but the gamble to skip them in general is very hard.
There we go, someone else using lens strats for this room. Don't know why I feel like I'm the only person that does it. Saves time.
I do lens strats in that room. Especially with starting with lens, like there's no reason not to.
Well, you don't have to use hovers. You don't
They don't.
have to use
Yeah,
hovers
they
in
don't
that
have
room.
to use
You
hovers,
could just
but
die multiple times.
yes. Or you just get lucky and get it first try.
Yeah, just get it first time for it.
And you know that the ones to the immediate right or left can't be it, so they have a 1, 2, 3. They have a 33% chance of getting it right.
And if I remember right, it's not actually 33%. I think one of them, the bottom left, has a slightly higher chance for some reason.
I think so.
Ocarina of Time is a well-coded game. You're right, Rhea. They could just get lucky. Such as random. Might just go where the items are. And, well, it's not hover boots. It's definitely a mandatory dead hand fight. X picks up the big key. And I think Rafa's timer has unfortunately run out here. Is Jax warping to the Desert Colossus and seems to be aiming for...
They're getting ready for a Haunted Wasteland, but they would be hard-pressed to not check this ferry.
Yeah. It's the
there
perfect
they go.
time to route it in. Oh, second perfect time. Perfect time would be directly after Spirit, but...
Yeah. Best time is 20 years ago. Second best time is right now.
Exactly. And with that, Jax is our first competitor at 2:29:24 to reach go mode. Is there a world in which Rafa can pull this back?
They would have to perfectly route right now. They'd have to immediately go to DC and get their bombs and immediately go child.
Even if they perfectly route this, I don't see it. They've got to get that bomb bag straight away from Dongo.
No, I do see it simply because they get the bomb bag and immediately leave, go child, immediately go do Richard and Bombchu Bowling, and immediately go do Deku, and then they have Dins to do quick Deku after they get their long shot. And they also have bombs to ground jump. And then they just have to go beat Morpha because they've already gotten the boss key. They could do it. They would have to perfectly route, though.
It's true, but one thing there is this has been a very warp song. There's been a distinct lack of warp songs in this seed.
That is very true.
You need to walk to each of those locations.
That is very true.
Where's the child spawn again? Kakariko. Yeah. You would need to walk straight all the way to the Deku tree. You'd also need to walk back to Water Temple.
Well, I don't think we've seen what Water Temple is. Oh wait, no, we need Water Temple. Never mind, I'm dumb. Yeah. I'm hungry, and so I'm not thinking clearly.
Yeah, the plays Rafa is making makes sense. It's just unfortunate we know there's nothing there for him. Max has been in the better position for a while with the items they've found, and unfortunately the advantages he had have just eked away.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, there was a scale in Forest, but they started with Sirius, so you knew it could be anywhere. If I had to guess, it's likely going to be Bolero or Minuet. Probably Bolero because it's the less useful of the two. And we know that the fountain is foolish, so the Rafa can just skip these checks. Head straight on into ice. That Song of Time. Although at this point, yeah, I can see them immediately going to get the bomb bag after this. Is maybe even 4 bomb tube bowling specifically. He's running out of checks. Done the progress dungeons. The only thing he hasn't done is Dodongo's Cavern, which unfortunately is the thing that give him what he needs. And that is true. Chat saying that it's an interesting psychological thing that dungeons being marked as a stone seems to devalue their checks so much, even though they're just as likely to have key items as the Medallion dungeons.
That's very true, yeah.
And when it comes to dungeons like the Deku Tree and the Dodongo's Cavern, particularly when you have open Deku settings, these are very low sphere checks. There's not a lot of logic barring what can be in them.
Yeah, Prelude is either going to be Minuet or Bolero. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
But I also think the rando deep down slightly values Medallion Dungeons more.
I think the rando deep down hates runners more than it values.
That's true.
And yes, chat, you are right in that extra time you spend in a stone dungeon is time wasted, but when it comes to things like Kuchuri and Dodongo's Cavern, it's not a lot of time for a lot of value. And there is our second scale just sitting in Ice Cavern. Unfortunately, I think it comes a bit too late for it to be any use to Rafa.
Knowing that there's a bomb bag on Frogs too, but also knowing how easily I can do Dodongos without it, I don't think I'd be doing ice here first. Maybe doing it for... No, wait, hasn't Rafa already done GTG?
Rafa's already done at least
Yeah,
some of
then-
GTG.
Then I don't understand this play specifically.
I
I do like the glitchless jumps though. I always love seeing those.
You know the bomb bag behind this, or you know a bomb bag is behind this. No, 2 hours 37 minutes in, I think he's got to the point where he has concluded it's the logical bomb bag.
But the question is, do they go do DC with this bomb bag, or do they just immediately go bomb chew bowling?
I don't see them going. Well, you do bomb chew bowling because you would need to be a child to get the Frogs 2 check anyway.
That's true.
You don't do Child Dodongo's Cavern because Child Dodongo's Cavern. I would.
And there's 20 skulls. Imagine if there's a fourth bomb bag there.
Hidden fourth bomb bag. Biggerest bomb bag. And our second ride of the race. And yes, Benji, we did find the third slingshot sitting in light trial, which we don't quite understand how it's sling locked. But Randobot says it is. And at this point, I'm just gonna shut up and trust Random.
Right.
And probably dig into it later when I can't sleep. Interesting use for that Song of Time, using it to clear the rest of OoT Temple. I think Shaynok in the chat may be right in that these are older, less common plays to... If it's Dodongo's Cavern, maybe he feels that he's already on the losing path, so do things like the river chest in Water Temple, in the hopes that that's where the item is when it is equally as stuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing of, you know, if it is into Dongos and I've probably already lost and they're about to done, so I might as well do some out of the way checks in the event that if it wasn't there, I don't want to waste my time and maybe do something unexpected.
Yeah, metagaming slightly. Makes sense, but unfortunately it's not going to pay off for him this time. And at this point, even if he does immediately go to Cavern, I still don't see a path to victory for him. Plus Jax really struggles with the Iron Knuckles again. Standing in those skulls. It's now or never for whether he goes to Dodongo's Cavern or not. And he's heading in the direction. His strengths were in Ido's house, in the Kakariko Redead Grotto, and in the Upper Deku. Compass chest, I think it was. I agree with you, Benji, there. There's nothing stopping Uma being last logical. Rafa had Shadow Temple cleared as his third dungeon, so definitely didn't stop it. And there's the Stone of Agony. So we know where that is.
We were just Greg away from meme percent.
I think either runner picked it up, but we did see it. And Jax heading back into the Shadow Temple. For that, well-placed forwards wind from... Even saving the jump slash on the warp in.
So there's the first bow. And then the next check's going to be your bomb bag. The question is, does Rafa stay in full clear Dodongos, or does he immediately go, ooh, F's Jax. They got this. They can do it. But does Rafa immediately leave, or do they finish Dodongos?
I can see finishing Dodongos. It's a thing like the Kikiri sword you're missing. There aren't. It's blocking Deku Tree. So
Yeah.
that's the only place it can't be. And Anna's Castle.
He's like, please, let it be the K sword. Motherfucker. You've got bombs now, my guy. Go do a ground jump.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. That's something I'm bad for too.
And salt and pepper are down. Bitsy, stop helping the runners mid-race. I'm just reaching out to them with the force.
Did Jax immediately bail from the trap room after finding the key? Shadow Temple.
I don't know why.
His Bigoron sword was in the other chest, so they
maybe then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was because all they had left was the last key, and then they were in go mode. So yeah, they didn't bother.
And Rafa doesn't have the light arrows either, as he hasn't routed any of the night market checks in, most likely because he didn't have bombs. Jax only routed in the Richard check after the bombs as well, I believe.
No, Jax had lights in Child 1. I could have sworn they did, at least.
They could have. Maybe the time of day just lined up for them.
I think so.
The hitbox of the destroyable floor first time. The hammer. It's not quite getting the one cycle. But I blame them. I've only managed to get a Master Sword one cycle on Ganondorf once. Incredibly strict timing involved.
Oh yeah, it's super strict. I have gotten it twice, and once was very recently in a practice scrubs race.
They're getting a
and I was like, oh. Well, good news, baseball. You aren't the only tracker who will have to click a stone button today.
Rafa beating Dodongo's Cavern just in time.
So what happens first? Does the dot done happen first, or does the K sword find happen first?
I would say the dot done. I'd be surprised if they Rafa was to immediately go child.
You were saying?
Jax is a very well-seasoned player. The Ganon fight, I can't see not going particularly smoothly. We've got a hammer.
So here's the question. You haven't found Bigoron sword, you don't have the hammer for the seed for whatever reason. Do you go buy a fake Bigoron sword before going to Ganon's?
Not a chance.
You just deal with having to hit it 10 times?
We've got nuts. The hookshot's really crazy. The hookshot and Z targetings I used as a child in this game, and it's not particularly slow. Roll through, shoot once, come around, roll through, shoot once.
But doing that 10 times versus grabbing a fake Vigor sword and having to hit him 3 times.
It's still faster to just do it casually. There's a lot of walking involved. To mention, Jax doesn't have the piece for the brokens. Deku Sword find happened first, but I'm not sure about the Deku Sword get.
Very close.
Unfortunately, but it was very close. And GG's to Jaxstronomy, who will take this seat, keep this ring. The time of 2:49:20. And with that sword, he is not far behind. The long shot would come straight in the middle of Deku as he beats Goma. He was essentially in go mode already from the moment .done happened, which is unfortunate.
It looks like Jax did say they are going to join us for an interview as they come in. Welcome in.
Hey, thank you. Nice to be here.
Come in, Jax.
Congrats. How do you feel?
I was really worried about what was going on until I saw Rafa post in the race room that he just missed the K sword until the end of time. Because the entire time I was going, I had a lot of deaths. I felt like my entire movement was off to the left because I have played 0 Zooter this week because I've been slammed at work. So I was just like, my entire movement was off to the left. I died several times. I'm just thinking of like vibrating in my chair if you didn't see with my Ganondorf.
Welcome.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Hi,
Hey, Rafa.
welcome in, Rafa. GG's.
Thank you.
I figured you probably missed the K sword because I figure like I was really just talking down to myself for my early route, and I'm just like, either the K sword or the hovers were probably what evaded you, because otherwise you should be done already. Because I know you're awesome.
That's also the bomb bag. I did the DC really late.
Yeah.
I wanted to skip it.
What do y'all think about having the Frogs 2 bomb bag in Logic very early?
Fully in Logic. It was fully in Logic, as in Logic as the DC bomb bag.
The DC bomb bag was way earlier in Logic, but it was just ironic. We were missing the bow.
By Blitz rules, it was equally in Logic.
Fair.
Yeah, because I found that scale in... I found the scale in Forest. So I could get there to job as a child. Forest? And that was my plan after my child swing. If I hadn't gotten the K-Sword, I was going to go get... I was thinking about just going to Ice.
And I guess the long shot was in DQ?
Yeah.
It was like the slingshot chest.
And the light arrow?
Richard.
I was going to do it. Oh no, I was going to skip it.
Yeah, I did Richard pretty early, so I was able to relax with that one.
Yeah, I really delayed the Market of Night.
Yeah.
Since I didn't have bomb bag.
Big question was, you finished Spirit and don't immediately go do the Spirit Fairy.
I had 2 dungeons I could finish. Plus I really wanted to get through Fire. Fire was my big priority at that point, because Fire would tell me if it was inside or outside Ganon's castle. And the answer was, nobody knows.
We figured that would be the reason you went to Fire. It's just unfortunate that it gave you 0 information on the hovers.
I mean, it just cost me inside Ganon's castle clear, which is unfortunate, but
it's not the longest of...
Nah. Plus, the first place I was looking was, okay, I'm going to go to GTG, and I'm going to go via the Wasteland, because there's 2 checks there I've isolated. And, of course, the first one was the one I needed.
Yes, so the chat is very confused about these... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Rafa.
What were your barrens? Did you find a dungeon that was barren?
I didn't find one. I only found 2 Baron hints.
Ah, same.
I stopped looking because I had I just had stuff to do.
Nobody touched Jabu, so I would assume it's Jabu.
Do you know that after market, if there wasn't the cookie resort, I would have done Jabu.
Honestly, so other things that made me like convinced that I was losing this race was walking into Jabu to Fraught for Roar's Wind. It was a great plan. A great plan if I had magic.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so tired. Someone please, like. I
Just
found
stop
out this
doing
week that I have the third highest workload in my department, including the averaging in the 2 years I was on reduced.
Oof.
Yep.
Well,
So that's probably where I was with like walking into places and just I died a bunch. I walked into places. That was where I was. I was just really tired.
Don't worry, I tried 2 times to play Song of Time without having it.
Nice.
we did see the shield flicks.
Yeah.
Although we did
I was disappointed because the one time I had I really wanted a shield flick was when I checked Open Grotto and it was crap. I really wanted to. I had no shield.
But we do have
But
to
no,
say,
there was something
Rafa,
else down there.
We did enjoy the ice arrow strats on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You did Ice
That
Arrow
was
Bongo, and I didn't. Wow. Honestly, at that point,
How
I was just
could you?
nervous, but
Just for that, I should have won.
Also,
You won
Jax,
in our hearts.
the
right.
chest that you skipped in Shadow when you got your final key was bigger on Sword.
That would have been nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, at that point, I was just like, no, I'm skipping everything. I have everything. I have an empty bottle. I have all this, and then of course, there's a bottle in Shadow, so that didn't end up doing anything for me. But that's fine.
Yeah, we were watching you doing the iron knuckles, and something clicked in my head that they not got
I
the
just
sword.
felt, I felt just completely. I go behind the iron knuckles on my first climb, and I'm like, and then as I die, I'm like, that's not how you do this with Master Sword. That's not how you do this at all. What am I doing? But yeah, the Kakiri sword was mean. Once I saw the oh yeah, that was why I wanted a shield flick and had no shield, because when we got that freaking hook shot, or that's a slingshot in Harbor Field, like, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, it deflated me somewhat as well when you have slingshot as your path to Goma. Although speaking of which, everyone in the chat, all the comms, all the trackers, is very confused
Me
how that
too.
slingshot is path.
I
Because
think
light
that
trials
I would love to
so
see the light trial slingshot. I would really love to see the I really
behind
want to see the note sheet if I can after, if someone can share that with me.
Well,
Because
there was a
there's
slingshot on
a slingshot in
Target
light
as well.
trial.
And
There was a
in Target in the
slingshot
road.
on Light Trial.
Yeah, the Tark in the Woods one is obvious. That's a slingshot locked slingshot. But I also was also struggling to figure out how that was slingshot locked, because I thought that meant my hover boots were going to be in Gan's castle for sure, because I'm like, oh, that just means that that Deku was one of my guaranteed 5 medallions to get in. And then I didn't get it. I'm like, I'm going to just not think about this, because apparently I've forgotten something.
Sometimes you just need to assume
No
that
thoughts,
Skynet,
head empty, do checks.
Skynet knows more than me. Just do
Yeah.
checks.
No thoughts, head empty, do checks. Yeah, so I'm very confused about that still. So yeah, chat, I'm also confused. I just tried not to think about it. That just means that there's something in the, there's something behind Deku Tree, which is just, that's the part I'm really confused about.
Where is the
I don't
strength
understand.
tree?
Strength 3 was also in Deku Tree.
Yeah.
Where?
Deku.
Where?
On the upper Deku Tree in the Compass Festival.
Huh.
Really
That's weird. That's really weird.
The only thing that we didn't see as far as checks for the tracker were bottles. The only things that were missing as far as weapons and equipment goes, I think all of them.
I was wondering what the things in Shadow were as I was skipping them, and yeah, it might have been nice to have the bigger round sword.
It didn't seem to lose you that much time, though, other than the one iron knuckle death.
Yeah, that was. I died to iron knuckles a bit more than I like today.
What's your ideal number of deaths?
Well, 0 is my ideal number, but I'll settle for 1. Then I got troll hold on Vavagia, which put me off a little bit, and yeah, I mean, again, I won. I can't complain too much because I didn't understand what the seed was doing, except for that slingshot. I don't understand. I'm not asking questions at this point. But apparently I read it well enough, and I did a decent enough job of doing cleanup to work my way through the seed. Rafa, did you find any shoe packs early?
No, I bought them.
Ah, okay.
Ironically, though, Frogs 1 also had a chew pack.
Yeah, Frogs 1 had shoe pack. That was the first one I found, and I wouldn't call that early, you know?
But I mean, with where your storms is, it's kind of early.
Kinda early, yeah. Just getting into River requires going to the Floor Master chest in Forest without bombs. So I wouldn't call that like appealing in any way.
Yeah.
But I was checking a bunch of small chests in the beginning of the seed because I just saw like, okay, I have Frogs 2 bomb bag. Frogs 2 bomb bag is my first hit that I see. That's the moment you go, okay, I need to see a chew pack now, and I didn't see it till I got my bomb bag. I'm glad I decided to step into DC before I went back to Child 2, though.
I think that's where a lot of the time difference was just when each of you decided to do Rando is Rando. Just happened to be a second bomb bag in Tavern.
Yeah. Again, I figured it was worth the couple minutes to check the front. But yeah, the entire time was just like the entire thing, like, well, I'm probably gonna lose this, but hey, at least I didn't go into any of the side dungeons. I went to all the reward dungeons instead, but I didn't go to any of the side dungeons.
It's just unfortunate that sometimes the stones find a way.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, this is I did actually finish out my 5 matches before the halfway point, although I will say my group is really on top of things, and I'm just like, you're all doing awesome, but I actually have
awesome,
my job is stupid right now. I can't do this like all the time, so I'll pace myself. But I'm looking forward to the rematches with everybody because this was awesome. I want to see this without a random K sword. I want to go up against Vela again because Vela just really surprised me. Like I made a misstep in that seed, but it didn't really matter. Like I think we would have, if I hadn't made the misstep, we would have been pretty much on top of each other. I want to rematch Hell Knight because I beat myself that seed, and I want to have a rematch where I'm not beating myself.
And we hope to get some of those on the restream.
Yeah. Again, I'm excited about our matches. Also, like, really excited for more of the Div 7 and 8 matches. So if you see any of those being restreamed, go watch them because all of those groups are really exciting to me.
Yes, I was commentating one of the Division 8 matches a couple of days ago, I think. They were all excellent runners, and it's great to see so many people involved in this.
Yeah. So definitely, like, if you see some of the lower streamers, if you don't recognize a name, still tune in because there's been some awesome stuff going on in League.
It really has.
Well, seeing as how I have been up since like almost 12 hours ago without food, I'm gonna go get food.
Yeah, thank you for commentating. Go get something to eat.
It was great watching you and watching you both run, and I hope y'all have a wonderful night.
Yeah, thank you.
Baseball, can you please do the commands because I can't remember what they are. Thinking people. Although I should probably ask, does chat have any questions for runners? Them in quick because
we're getting ready for the raid out.
Nobody said anything. Okay, so thank you to everyone who's been involved in this stream. Thank you to our runners, Rafa and jaxstronomy. The trackers could please do the commands to get their Twitch links up. As for commentating, it was me and the return of the fan favorite Bitsy. And on restream, the person making this all come up on your screen, Tobias. So thank you to him as well. And there are the links. Thank you, Baseball. And Baseball was one of our trackers, along with Shanok and Vaiva. So thank you to both of them for making commentators look like they know what they're talking about. Any last comments from the two of you?
Looking forward to the rematch.
Get Rondoed.